You've beaten a top 100 before, a top 100 console player. Right, so Zeke Diamond. What are these pings? Do Johnny Boys show matches after you get good? True, yeah, you can. Well, it's not even Johnny Boy that does them anymore, isn't it? Fear that pretty much looks after the 1v1 scene now. So this kickoff, although I can appreciate, you fall a bit too far, you push too far to the right on this. Like you're falling far to the right, and that's why you lose the kickoff so hard to the side. That's free. Okay. Just needed to be a bit quicker on that, because now your teammate's in a 2v1. Like if you could have got to that in time if you had gone to it a bit quicker. Decent touch. Let's get the 100. Oh, we've got an open net. That's the main thing so far. Is just we saw an open chance in front of net, and we just didn't rush to it. Like we didn't try to take it. Kickoffs, kind of, you still falling to the side at the end of your kickoff. So I like this, but then you're not pulling yourself. So your car drives forward, you power slide to the side, and then you side flip. After all that side flip, you're still facing sideways, and you need to work on pulling your car back to the front now, because what you're doing is you're turning and you're getting like so close to facing forward, but not actually facing forward, and then that angle is pulling you around the ball. Then it's like your car's gripping the floor, taking you in that direction, and then you're turning. So instead of getting to the ball like that, you're landing like this and then pulling around the ball, and that's you can see yourself coming to the right there, and you just leaving a huge gap for the ball to get past you. Your teammate's calling left, right, but you're still falling to the side of the ball. If you're trying to lose, I'd say lose with the side of your body, because your kickoff just doesn't look convincing to me. Like it looks like the same thing would happen if you was just trying to hard win your kickoffs. I don't know. So here, you should take a look at the opponent if you can before you go for this. So go like that, and now use your right stick. Try and take a look, see where your opponent is, so you know when you need to. Like if you can look at where your opponent is right now, then you know the latest you have to challenge. You know what I mean? Whether you just want to beat the player, or if you want to put a 50-50 on it, and you know exactly what the timing is going to be on that. Whereas here you're coming in blind. Now you see it, and now you have to immediately react, where you could have given yourself that 1 or 2 extra seconds if you had looked earlier. A bit too far forward here. You can tell you're too far forward because you have to pull off to the side. We shouldn't have to pull off like this and come back in and waste time like that. Like L position, dude. So coming out of defense. So what I would want, so we would tuck in a bit, and then we'd follow our teammate like this now. And like, yeah, it wouldn't have been the best opportunity because things would have been moving slow. You probably would have been, like, or you would have been some sort of danger of a demo. Like you would have had to have listened out for that, but you would have been in line for a potential shot. Like we don't want to be in that parallel position to the side, because we're screaming for a pass, where we should be allowing our teammate to play like a 1v2 play style, and we back them up. Up to Grand Champ, it's all about letting your teammate try to bulldoze their way or flick and 50-50 their way through the opponents, and you're just there for the ride to clean up. And when you've got possession of the ball, the same for them. So we kind of just ring around this. So that's cut to the side. So here we should just go straight away from the ball, or you should try and get on the opposite side of the opponent. So if they're going to try and take this into possession, you'd want to get on this side of them. But now that the ball's going into that corner, cut the corner and try and send the ball up the wall. You kind of just chase the ball around in a circle. Like you never once tried to really like predict where you think they're going to hit the ball next. Like you just chased it, even off the bounce of the wall. You just followed the bounce. You didn't try to predict it. Okay, that's much better. More centered. Get the 100. So you don't need to go to this player here. Like you could wait on the wall. You could go over to them in terms of like trying to get them to do something, but you would by no means challenge this person right now because your teammate is not back yet. So that's fine that you do a turn. Play into the corner, I'm fine with that. Nice, flick, close. It's decent, get some pads. You don't want to just rush into it, you've got no pads. So there was nothing wrong with the pads in the middle. So like turn ball cam off and just try and think of a line of pads that you could get that would lead you back into the play. So like if I turn borderless back on. So right now like you've just got one, and then you could try and do something like 1, 2, 3 like that, or you could go if you want to take a bit more time. You could go like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're facing into the play again. Like you've just got to waste a bit of time again, letting your teammate play their 1v1 play style. But you don't want to, like, if that's here, that would be great. But if it's not, you've got to make something else happen. You by no means go back for these. This is too far away, so you've got to make something happen within this part of the pitch. You know what I mean? So you've got to think about where the pads are, what's available to you, and the most convenient way of picking up multiple. But like we was in that situation where like we're also pushing far away from our teammate. Like remember, we want to be within like about 1/3 of the pitch as well. We don't want to leave our team. Like although we want that 1v1 play style, we don't want to leave them in a 1v1. Do you know what I mean? You still need to be close, 1/3 of the pitch. It's unfortunate. Let's have a look at that again. So here what we can do is like, we take it to the side, we go into a dribble. If you're not, like, you need to flick this now. If you're not comfortable with getting the flick, what you should do is hit your brakes. If you hit your brakes right now, the ball will go ahead of you, and then you immediately start driving again. So it's like we're going to just drop the volley, or drop the dribble, sorry, and take it into a grounded 50. So this is something like Norn picked up pretty quick, and I think you would be able to do as well. So if you've got the ball, and let's say it's on the very edge of your nose like this, like it looks like it is now. When the ball's on the very edge like this, you're just accelerating the ball and you can't get a flick anymore. Like you can't jump up because you're just like, you've got no, you're not underneath the ball to lift it up, and you can't get the backside of your car enough like to flick at the ball. So what we should do, hit the brakes, or just take your finger off acceleration for just a second, let the ball fall off and end up here instead. Like you'll have to adjust your speed to let the ball roll off and land there. And then once you've got the 50-50, like go for the guy. Like take the 50-50 opportunity and just try and get a good 50 which either kills the ball or hopefully plays it out into the centre for your teammate to push up on. So like that's how you want to avoid getting dunked. Either you've got to notice the challenge coming in earlier and flick the ball. And if you miss that opportunity, if you feel like you've missed that opportunity, hit the brakes. Don't try to get a flick that you don't have control of, because you're just still going to get dunked. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not going to flick the ball in a way that you want to. Do you know what I mean? You're just going to end up flopping the ball over, and it's not going to go anywhere. So there, we could hit the brakes and take the grounded 50, and then you wouldn't have left your teammates so far back as well. So I can kind of show you how you can convert that in free play afterwards. Oh, we don't have to challenge this. Decent. You need to be up early for that. So I just want to go back here. So that pops up. So I said we didn't have to challenge this, but I want you to still be like looking at the opponent and staying near to it. I don't want you to just walk away from it like that. Where you drive away there, I wasn't too pleased with that. I want you to stay near it. We're just giving possession away, whereas I want you to still stay near the ball, making this opponent think that there's someone to beat. You know what I mean? I don't. You're just leaving it to them. I want them to make them think about how they need to get around you, even if your intention is not to challenge. I still want you to be relevant to them, because if you drive away right now, you've got to come back in, and because you've drove away, they're actually closer to the ball than you are now, and it's much easier for them to beat you because you give them that time on the ball, or you allowed them to get closer to the ball without you being a presence. So yeah, you didn't have to hit that, but you still want to stay near to the ball in some sense. You don't want to let them just have free reign on the ball. Get a decent 50 out of that. If Perrine comes, you should have left this to your teammate now. You get too far underneath the ball here. It's like with that going up, instead of... It depends how you and your teammate can play, but say like if I was with Jack here, I'd say I'm too below this ball right now. I have to slow down too much in order to do anything, and that's just time for my teammate to turn, maybe grab this, and then jump up for the ball before I can, or kill me before I can do anything. Like I'd have to slow down way too much before I can do anything. So what I'd like to, if you have comms, I would say, because I'm in a shit situation, I'm either going to run, and my teammate's going to try and pass that over to me, or if we want to play L position, then I'd just recycle like that. I'd let my teammate push up, and then I'd look to get in that L position behind them. So this would be the safest option, just because you're too underneath the ball. But I don't believe you can. I don't believe you can slow down and take possession of this without being challenged. There it is. So I mean, it would have been too hard to control that without being challenged. So you need to notice, like, this is kind of like what I said to Muan earlier. You need to be looking at your opponent. So yeah, it looks like he's got a touch there. You can respect that. That's fine. But now he's dropped it, and look where he's facing. He's not even facing in the right direction. So this is where you need to capitalise and rush this. You don't rush it, and then you get beaten. You had plenty of time to actually get in the way of that, or just take it away from them, but you hesitated. But you need to look at people's like Scrub Killer calls it car language, like body language. Like you need to look at the way people are facing, how much boost they're using, how fast they're going, and try to think if they can touch the ball again, and what's the most likely direction they're going to touch the ball, so that you can take advantage, or you can use your initiative to get involved. So here, so we're showing up in some sort of L position. That should be, this is why we're in L position, so we're not close enough here. We should be around about here, okay? It's not a great deal of distance ahead, but it's something. It's some sort of, like, we're closer to our teammate now. Your teammate now goes in for a challenge, and now he gets the opponent to hit the ball away from themselves. This is why we need to be closer, because the opponents now hit the ball over your teammate and separated themselves from it. And what you can see on the opponent as well is after they hit the ball, not only do they hit it, they flip. Now they're locked into an animation, and look, they're not recovering well either. So this is why you want to be closer. This is why L position works, because as soon as your teammate gets the opponent to throw the ball away like this, and also commit into an animation, it's perfect for you to step in. Like, you have all the way up till about here to take control of this, maybe even a little bit longer, but you need to look out for this. You need to look out for when your teammate forces these touches and get on it. Like, you need to take advantage of that. So your opponent isn't really threatening you right now, so I wouldn't spend so much boost. I'd probably just flip towards them. Like, don't spend your boost on this. So you are last year. You can't challenge that. So like, you don't need the boost right now. So you should slow down. So you're moving into this corner. So it touches into the corner. Like, your opponent can't score right now, so there's no reason for you to rush anything. Do you know what I mean? You just need to like get near to your opponent. And you know, like I was saying earlier, or like literally like 5 seconds earlier in the game, how your teammate showed up and got your teammate to just throw the ball away in a way that didn't benefit them. Like they hit the ball over you, they committed into an animation, and that's where you could have picked up. You want to try and do the same for your teammate now. So instead of shadowing, like, we just want to fake challenge this, or show up in a way that makes your teammate think, I've got to get around them, or I've got to send the ball around them, and just get them to hit the ball over you or around you in a way that means that they can't follow up on it, and that's then a free ball for your teammate. So what we should do is show up here and just like drive slowly and just be in pain in the arse here. Like, just try and your teammate, the opponent has got to come back out. So instead of rushing at the boost, see if the ball rolls up the wall. If it doesn't bounce out, all right, now you can jump up for that and just tap it over them or something like that. So you're just rushing at the moment. You forgot about the challenge. You went to get the boost and you didn't. Like, it's your job to provide an initial challenge here as well. Like, it's your job right now to provide a challenge so our goalkeeper doesn't have to, and you just get boost instead. Good attempt, unfortunate. So what I would say here again is struggling for the flick. Literally like what we said earlier, if you're struggling for the flick, don't flick it. Don't just flick it hoping it works. You either have to be sure, because like you've either got the experience or you've got the time and space to do it. If you don't, just drop it, because as I said earlier, you're just going to flop the ball in this situation. You go into an all for 50-50 and it turns into a goal. So what you should be doing is working on your flicks. We also want to look at how we can convert those unfortunate like where you're not controlling the flick or the dribble back into a 50-50. Okay, your kickoffs are better. Return, you are last, so don't rush this. Yeah. So you didn't need to go up on the wall at all here. You could just stay here. Because if the opponent... You don't need to go up because you've got a teammate that should be on their way back. Okay, you don't. But you could still deal with this, so... if your teammate just blasts the ball, you can just drive away from it and come back like this. If they come back down, then you want to be on this path anyway, because you're going to be shadowing them. So, like, as they go towards net, you're going to be trying to like turn into them to shadow. And if they just continuously go up on the wall and then air dribble, then soon as someone starts an air dribble, like so from here towards your net, you would drive through here, get the 100 boost, and show up in your back corner like that. So you don't need to go up on the wall for any reason, because if you go up, they're just going to try and air dribble and go over you. And to be honest, the only way that you specifically deal with that is kind of like in Sangani's replay, where he jumped off the wall and tried to like counter their air dribble with a mid-air challenge, and we're not ready for that. So don't go up on the wall here. Just think about staying back or staying relevant and being a last line of defense. So you do come back down, but I just want to tell you why you shouldn't go up on the wall. And your problem here is the way that you power slide afterwards. So you get the 100 boost, kind of like when I said if they go up for a wall to air dribble, you'd go into your own corner, collect the 100, and then you'd wait back post. You're moving in that direction, but what I would want is that you show up in back post, and now you continue to just leave your car facing in this direction. So you've got ball cam on in this direction, but your car is facing in that direction, because your issue here is that you face forward. You start to play as a static goalkeeper, as if you're in football or soccer, and then he shoots aside you, and now you have to turn 90 degrees to the left and try and put a save in, and it just screws you over. Like you flip, like you don't get bumped first, you flip first. So you do a little backflip and then you get hit. And your problem is because you was facing forward and not across your net. You should be diving across your net to make your saves. That's why I said so. let's say you show up back post. Let's say I'm facing in this direction, but ball cam on. So I'm just chilling here. The shot comes in, but I'm facing in that direction. Now I just aerial across the net. Do you know what I mean? So car just goes across net and pushes it over there. That's all we need in that situation. Just need to be looking over the other side of your net. Like if your teammate bumps you, your teammate bumps you, but you made that harder on yourself to begin with. I have heard from him. He's back on the YouTube grind. I've spoke to him in DMs a bit. So yeah, he's doing well. I kept telling him to take breaks, but he wouldn't. Alright, so your last hit, and again, this is, as I said, dude, car language and predicting where the ball's like who's got the first touch. Your teammates could potentially get a touch, but both of these people are facing downfield. Your teammate's not really going to get a touch that sends the ball back upfield, and look how close this opponent and both your teammate are to you in comparison to the, like, how close they are to the ball in comparison to yourself. You're never winning this. Like, the only good outcome here is, say, like, of all the, like, here I know.
3 cheers for renal function. Hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray.
Nice. But yeah, like, if all the, like, let's see your team, the opponent's going into this, and they're going to hit the ball. The ball could go up here, it could go there, it could go there, it could go there, it could go there, it could go there. Like, any of these outcomes, it could be any of these. The only good thing that could happen here is that you predict the right one of all of these potential outcomes, and you get a dunk back in that direction. If you don't get that, like, if they go for any of these different outcomes, you've just wasted yourself as last man. That's how. Like, this is what I want you to think of in terms of, like, how risky this is for you to dive in when you're not the nearest person to the ball. You're throwing yourself into, maybe I can get the 1 in 10 chance that I get this dunk. If you're losing and we've got like 10 seconds left on the clock, yeah, go for it, because we need it. But when we've got a minute left to play, like, we've got ages to try and build something up. So there's no reason to throw yourself into this and risk the last line of defense. So here we could push up, but when we notice that we're not getting this, we'll turn around and then we'll be looking in shadow positioning. And if you had turned around, now you could just hit the ball into your own corner over here, or into your own corner over here, depending on which is more comfortable for you. So you're throwing yourself in as last man quite a bit, which is fine. Like, you'll get better at it. That's a nice touch there. Didn't need to use so much to land. Like, so as soon as you hit this, stop using boost, face your card down, and then boost. Yeah. And you just didn't need to. As soon as your card's actually moving down, don't spend any more boost. So we probably could have got out of this with like 10, 15 boost, which would then be enough to then throw yourself to the boost to the right. So I want to see you collect that 100. We should have got that 100. Because, like, now we're showing up, like, you've landed. No, you go up for this, stop boosting, face down, spurt a little bit, so that your car is now pushing down, and then stop. So we could land with about 20. Then here, the boost was on the right. I'd want you to go to the right, because, like, what else is there? You're not going to get that corner before the opponent, and you don't want to show up into a fight with no boost either. So we should have got that 100 boost at the side. It's a good attempt to set up for your teammates, unfortunate. Our position, so we want to be a little bit closer to our teammate here. We're just not close enough. So here I would flip forward, because it's generally it's kind of like a boost pad positioning away. Like, I just want you here, like, in terms of length. That's like just a boost pad position ahead, so it moves up and then would be closer to this, and then from here we could shadow back down. So you are close, or you're on the right, like a similar path to what I want. It's just I want you a little bit closer. Maybe close. Again, you gotta look at people and how close they are to the ball. Is so much closer that he's already jumped as well. He's jumped up much quicker than you have. So in this situation, because the person's jumped up, think of where their body's facing. Where's the ball going to go? Like in this scenario, where's the ball most likely to go? It's more like, it's pretty much sold that the ball is going to go into that corner and then back out, depending on where he hits the ball. So what you could do right now is go around like this, just disengage, rotate round. Your teammate can push forward because this ball's going to come back out, so they can push forward for where the ball's going to land. So if the ball lands, they could go in. The opponent's probably going to come in 50-50. But if you're at back post, then it's fine, because if they win the 50-50, then you push up as well, or just after the outcome of the 50-50 in general, whether your teammate wins or the opponent wins, you can push up on it afterwards. So you've got to pay attention to your opponents more. This will probably slow you down for a bit as you start to play, because you'll be focusing on the opponent and the ball at the same time. But if someone's like, if this is the ball, opponent's here, and you're like a bit further away like that, you're losing this. Do you know what I mean? Or if there's a 50-50, they're going to be the second touch, so they're more likely to win it because they get an extra touch after you, or they can aerial to hit the ball over you and you'll just get there and you'll miss, or you'll jump and you'll whiff, because they'll get to play the ball like around you rather than straight at you. So you need to pay a bit more attention to how close your opponent is to the ball, and where they're most likely to hit the ball, and then just know if it's not worth going, or just like make a better choice. You're right, Matthias. You need to make better choices in terms of this isn't worth me going for because I just cannot win. You know what I mean? I just can't get to the ball before the opponent, so what's the point? See what I mean? Like you just get thrown away there. Again, dude, he's much closer than you are. His recovery is pretty decent. He lands and he's right there. So in this situation, the opponent's there. They will beat you. So instead of throwing yourself away at a challenge that you cannot win, you should turn around and then start, as they push forward, you'll be in a shadowing position. Yeah, you might be slow, you might have low boost, but at least you can do something. Whereas if you just throw yourself here, like I tried to explain earlier, you're throwing yourself into that 1 out of 10. The odds could be even higher than that, but you're throwing yourself into that situation where you're just guessing. Now, I know we're very low on time at the minute, so like it's kind of okay to rush in that situation, but that's not the first time, is it? Like you've been doing that throughout the game, so you need to be paying more attention to your opponents, how much closer they are to the ball, and where they're more likely to send the ball. And if you know you're not going to get there first, or if they've already jumped, it's just not worth going up for, dude. Drive away, think about rotating, or think about where they're going to land, and if you can put a challenge in for your teammate as they land. Secondly, like L position, just try and play a little closer, like 1/3 of the pitch in terms of your teammate. Don't play off to the side in that parallel position. Like try to get tucked in to the side of them, or like behind them. L position, so that you can follow up. 3, look for separation. So like the best way to explain it for people that I haven't explained it for to begin with, in twos, like we're generally going to challenge people like this. Like we don't want to just send someone in by themselves. We move together. Do you know what I mean? We show up with our teammate. It's not to scale, but again, 1/3 of the pitch distance. So this person will push up and they'll go for a challenge. And it doesn't matter how you challenge, as long as you don't throw yourself at them. Do you know what I mean? You just need to make a decent challenge that either gets them to give up the ball and gives you a decent recovery, or we're going in for something like a 50-50. But the main thing that you're looking for is like fake challenges that scare the opponent to flicking the ball up and away. Kind of like what I said your teammate got in that corner when they got the opponent to just hit the ball away from themselves. Whilst this opponent has now thrown away the ball and is most likely stuck in their flip animation and they're off the ground, this is where this player now comes in. They pick up on the free ball. This person rotates to get back around them in L position. to support them, because now this person's got possession and they're going to try and do that 1v1 play style, and we are the +1 that's just backing them up. So we need to look for this. We need to look to create this separation. We need to look to take advantage of that separation when our teammate gives it to us. Same in defense as well. So if our teammate's in net and the opponent's got the ball and we're anywhere between like this, if we're in the same, like if we're around here, we might just want to rotate, but if we're in comms, we'll tell our teammate to go. But if we're close to this opponent, we should try and put a challenge in so that our teammate doesn't have to. If we can get the ball to spit out that separation and our teammate can get that, or if we can get them to, like if they see you rushing in to challenge them and then they flick the ball to keep it away from you, again, that's your teammate who can then pick up on that. You're about to save points to get carried to GC. Nice, my dude. So I hope those points help you think more about how you can play in twos, Zeke. Like, you definitely showed me that your kickoff was consistent, that you was trying to lose it. That's fine. Oh, and also your dribbles. So you pick the ball up, and then say, like, if you've got a dribble that you're not confident with, kind of like this, it looks like it's going to drop, just let the ball fall off you like that, and then 50-50 it. So, like, if we try it at speed, if I can get it with, it's going to be hard and borderless because the game lags. So we've got the ball. Damn it, it's hard on borderless. So we're carrying the ball at speed. Hit the brakes, let the ball go ahead of you, and then try and 50 it like that. It's like, it's quick, but that's how you would get out of those situations. So here I'm losing that. Just let the ball drop, and then look for a 50 afterwards, rather than trying to flick something that you just cannot contain, because you're just going to get dunked on. You're going to get the ball splashed over you, like literally the goal that they scored in their game. You tried to do something that you didn't have control of, and you just ended up throwing the ball away.